Hi, kia ora, good evening. I've been awake for a little while, but I've just been sitting with the dream that I had. After my last video and posting and stuff, I fell asleep listening to some Cree Nation music. I follow the Cree Nation on Spotify, and just sometimes when I need it, I listen to it because for some reason it helps give me strength. It keeps me strong for some reason. I can't explain it. I don't even think I, I don't. I've always suspected that my people were maybe, my ancestors were maybe Lakota or Chippewa or maybe even Algonquin or something. But for some reason, when I listen to the Cree Nation, excuse me, on Spotify, I don't know. It fills me with strength, and I don't know, I can't explain it. But anyway, I put the music on because I just needed to listen to something that had purpose. And I just thought, in my library, I haven't listened to them for a couple of years now, so I put it on and I started falling asleep. I fell asleep. I've been asleep for a couple of hours, but I've been awake for a little while. I didn't even finish all my dinner because I'm in quite a bit of pain at the moment, so I tend not to eat a lot of food when I'm in pain. So I may be sleeping a lot the next couple of days, but I I had a dream that I was in Blackpool. That's the second time I've had a dream about Blackpool. And a waka. And I don't know why I thought it was the Tainui, but that was the canoe that my ancestors left Hawaii on, was the Tainui. My people were one of the first people to set foot in, first Māoris to set foot in New Zealand. And it was really long, and it's not that I was scared to get on it. I knew the importance of what it was I was getting on and what it was going to mean once I got on it. And I kind of felt like the water was calling me. Get in the boat. You can do this. You need to get in the boat. I knew it was important that I got into the boat, and it made me nervous because of the importance of me getting into the boat. But I got in the boat. I picked up the paddle, and I remember thinking, how do I explain it? You know the Olympics? When at the start of the Olympics and everyone walks out onto the, into the arena thing, carrying the name of their country and their flag, and all the athletes walk out onto the field and they do the rounds and they're facing the audience, and there's that moment of when you look at all the looks on the athletes' faces, like, I made it. I can't believe I'm finally here. I can't believe I made it this far. Like, oh my God, I can't believe I made it. It was kind of like that. Like, I can't believe my people were letting me row the waka. I'm a girl. I'm the youngest in my family. As far as our royal bloodline goes, I'm one of the youngest in the food chain, so I should not be allowed to be getting in the waka, let alone rowing it. But there I was. It was like, in that moment, I was the embodiment of my people, the representation of the Ngāti Raukawa people. I was the one being chosen to represent my entire tribe from the beginning. And I knew how important and scary that was. So I started rowing. And the more I rowed, and I think when I had my dream the other day about the waka, it was misty. Oh no, when I wrote the poem for Matariki, when I was talking about rowing in the mist, and I could see the mountains through the mist. Well, I rowed through the mist. I was rowing, and the mist overcame me. And the Māori telephone started ringing. You know, I've talked about the Māori telephone before, how it was like the wood on the stick, and we'd swing it above our heads and raise it up and raise it down depending on the sound we needed it to make. But it basically sounded like woo 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 woo, like that. I heard it, and it was like the phone was ringing, the Māori phone was ringing, and it was so eerie rowing through the mist that I got goosebumps, and I got a little scared because I felt like I was stepping into the land of my ancestors on the water. And if you know anything about Māori myths and legends, New Zealand came about because we were pulled up by Maui who was fishing with his brothers. And the myth, the legend of New Zealand is that Maui was fishing and pulled us up out of the water, meaning New Zealand is like a giant fish. And, you know, he carved at it and chopped at it, and that's how we got the mountains and all of that sort of thing. So it's like New Zealand was rising up out of the water of the Atlantic. And in that moment I knew my ancestors was the boat, was the water, was the paddle, was the mist, was everything. Like I was engulfed, surrounded by my ancestors, which reminds me of that dream I had back in 2007 with my mum running across the field with all the Māori warriors and the feathers in her hair, and all the British people were running towards them, and I thought there was going to be a big war, but they ended up joining forces and running together to smash up the streets of Southport. It's all there documented. But this wasn't rage or anger, it was calm. And then as I was paddling, I can even now while I'm talking, as I was bringing the waka up, so not the waka, the paddle, as I was bringing it up and resting it against the waka, the water was, droplets of water were like touching my skin. I can feel it now because it was cold. The water was cold, and as I'm talking, like my spine is chilling. But I knew that I had to keep paddling. I knew I had to be brave. And in the mist, I saw my Nana, Elaine Isabel, my mum's mum, the mighty princess. She had her feather cloak on. She had her feathers in her hair. She had a moko on her chin. She had a massive green stone. And she had a mere, which is like a carved shaped club, and it was made of greenstone, and she was shaking it, she was waving it. And she said, "Don't be scared, bub. We're all here with you." And I said to her, "Nana, I don't know where I'm going." And she said, "Yes, you do." And she said, look who I've got with me." And she stood aside, and standing next to my big giant, nearly 6 foot Nana was Rebecca. Rebecca, Adelina. And Adelina said, "Don't give up. Keep going. You've got this." And then she evaporated, and my Nana had this big smile on her face, and she said, "Don't give up. Keep rowing. You've got this." She said, "We are all with you." And she said, I'm so proud of what you have done for my people, because my grandmother was a Māori princess. She was Māori royalty. She, in terms of Māori standing, she was up there with chieftains, and, my grandmother was in a really high position in Māoridom. That was my nan, my mum's mum. She was a very powerful woman. Her bloodline is, she was someone really important. And she said to me, "We're going to help you the rest of the way." She said, "You can put down your paddle. We're going to take you the rest of the way." And then it was like, I felt the waka being pulled, and like I jerked. I thought I was going to fall backwards because it jerked so far. And then the waka just started moving on its own. And when I looked over the side of the boat, my waka was on a whale. And Nana said, "You're the whale rider." And she said, "We're going to take you the rest of the way." And there were all these spirits of these Māori warriors swimming alongside the whale, but they were like giants. It's almost like the Māori warriors, the giants in these water, were holding the whale that was carrying me. And then next thing you know, I saw the Statue of Liberty. And New York was coming into view. And when I got to the shores, my sister Erin and my nephews were standing there, and she was holding her moko, River, her grandchild, River, and she said, "Welcome home." And when I got on the shore, there were all these Native Americans, all these First Nation people standing beside her, behind her, sorry. And the mighty warriors came out of the water, and my nana came out of the water, and they all started hugging each other and giving hongies, like mighty greeting, how we touch noses. And they were all, it was like relatives, like long lost family, being reunited on the shores of New York. And it's like in that moment, I had no energy. It's like everything had been drained out of me because of just 26 years. I've been in the United Kingdom fighting to stay alive, fighting to keep going because of my ex-husband, and getting my feet on American soil after everything I went through. It was like I could finally let go. I could finally just relax. I could finally just, like it was over. I didn't, like, the battle was over. And between my ancient ancestors and my Nana's ancestors, they worked together to pull me that last step to where I'm meant to be. And it's New York. That's where I landed. And I'm not crying because I'm sad or anything like that. It's just you have to understand when you're an Indigenous person and you're from a bloodline that is considered amongst all the tribes in New Zealand to be one of the most revered and respected. I mean, my koro, however many times removed, is Te Rauparaha. He's my ancestor. Te Rauparaha is like the Robert the Bruce or William Wallace, you know, that kind of where my people are documented as being the first footers of New Zealand, and they were carrying me to the ancestors with which we came, which is in America. And they were like, I was being taken home by both of them. It's powerful. It was a powerful moment, and seeing, I haven't seen my nana since I was like 10, no, 12. I think I was 12 when nana died. And her brother, my Uncle Nig, you know why he was called Nig. He was as black as the ace of spades. He taught me how to play poker when my nana was dying. He was in the Māori battalion, and he's the reason why I wrote the movie The War Babies, because it's going to be about the Māori battalion. And I can't, sitting in that moment with all that power was overwhelming. Seeing my nana being, you have to be Indigenous to understand. But they were saying, don't give up, keep going, keep going. And I'm not going to give up, but I think it was just them saying, it doesn't matter what they throw at you. And, you know, my rabbits, lions and vampire dream. I dreamt I was asleep and there was a knock at the door, and when I answered it there was an explosion of light, and I landed in what looked like in the dream I said New York or Boston. And then that's when someone tried to attack me in the car, and all the animals came out, all the white animals came out and tore them to shreds. So when you're in the presence of people that you know are spiritually powerful because they were that powerful in real life, and it was your own nana and your own ancestors and stuff, it's like it's emotional, because throughout this entire experience, from the minute he got me locked up, I've been fighting to be recognised as an Indigenous person here in the United Kingdom who um, has a right to live, because they tried to deny me my right to live. They tried to deny my right to be Māori, even with my white as snow skin. They tried to kill off the part of me that was born from volcanoes out in the Pacific. And now that very part of me is helping me get home. And it's like they were saying, and with Rebecca's help, with Rebecca standing there by my nan, of all people, remember why you're doing it. Like, don't give up, keep going, remember why you're doing it. This is for the children, this is for Indigenes, the white buffalo calf woman, bringing the four corners of the globe together. This is bigger than just you, Debbie. That's what it felt like. It's like they were saying, this is bigger than you. This isn't just about you. It's about what you're going to do once you get there, who you're going to be once you get there, and that's what you can't forget. This isn't just about you. This is about everybody who's been persecuted and prosecuted simply for the fact that they were Indigenous. And because I always said with my lawsuit money, I would be putting a lot of that into supporting Indigenous cultures from all around the world. And it's like between the Native Americans and the Native New Zealanders, they were working together to get the message home that I need to get ready, because something is about to happen that changes everything for me overnight, and I'm going to end up in America before I know it. That's basically what it was saying. Just get ready, don't give up. And I'm not giving up. It's just they were saying, um, don't let what they're trying to do to you slow you down. It's not slowing you down. It's pinpointing your focus of where you need to focus. It's removing the distractions. And kind of like this feeling of if the king is going to let Great Britain burn, let it burn, but you're going to rise from the ashes, because of the dream in 2007. Because when the British people joined forces with my mum and her warriors, and there were thousands of them, their their anger and their running towards the city was making the ground shake so hard that the windows were smashing and cars were overturning and things were, exploding all over the place, and it was in Southport. And then there was all this money with the Queen's face on the ground. and I knew that I was allowed to pick up the money, but um, it felt wrong to keep it. I knew the money was mine, but it felt wrong to keep it. So I knew that I had to do good things with the money once I got it. That was in 2007. I actually call it the 2007 dream on social media, and my mum died in 2005. And later on, when I got locked up and they decided that being Māori wasn't fit for living, um, I realised that that dream was talking about this fight that I've had, and that the people of Great Britain helping my mum get justice and helping me get this money with the Queen's face on it was all to do with me being told, you're going to win your lawsuit. You will sue them. You will successfully win this fight against the British government and the NHS and the police and Chris and all the rest of them, and you'll do good things with the money. And then, of course, that's when I decided when I do get the money, I'm going to support Indigenous cultures and businesses all around the world. Remember, I was talking about the Crow Nation in Wyoming, but all Indigenous cultures, even from like Norway and Greenland and all that. Indigenous is Indigenous, it's got nothing to do with the colour of your skin. Um, and that's when I decided as well that when I buy my land to build on, if my kids, or for whatever reason after I'm gone, they sell the companies and that, the land has to go back to the local reservation, who I think, don't quote me, they're either the Chippewa or the Algonquin Nation. I think, don't quote me on it. Might be the Algonquin. So they'll get the land once, should everything fail. Because I'm going to buy the land outright. So in spite of anything, the land will be freehold. Um, so yeah, really powerful dream. Emotionally overwhelming, because I knew when I got on that boat, I was stepping into something huge, and it made me scared because in Māori terms, in the grand scheme of Māoridom, I'm insignificant. I'm the baby. I have no standing in the hierarchical system of my mum's royal bloodline. I'm the baby. I'm nothing. I'm inconsequential. And yet here I was with these, I don't know how deep's an ocean, because the warriors, it was their shoulders and that were above the water. So how deep's the deepest part of the Atlantic? Because they were walking on the water with their shoulders and that above the water. That's how big they were. And they were carrying the whale. And in from a totemic point of view, whales are the ancient ancestors. They are the totem of ancient ancestors. They're the totem of the tribe and ancient wisdom, and they the keepers of history, the keepers of time, not too dissimilar from dragon, the matriarchal, patriarchal, you know, the head of the tribe, the head of the pod, and in my case that was my nan. And her name was Elaine Isabel. Every time I think about my nan, I always think of the photos of my granny Unaiki and my granny Ngawehinga, who were some of the most powerful women in Māoridom of New Zealand, sitting on that porch. My Aunt Manna, who was constantly kissing my face. I loved her so much. I was devastated when she died. I was only little when she died, and it's like I can feel them with me. And they're saying, don't give up, because what you're doing for us, what you're doing for all of us, is too important for you to back down because of some jealous, faithless racist who doesn't want you getting on that boat. So we're calling you to the boat, and you're going to paddle, and you're going to get to exactly where you need to be, because this is bigger than him and he knows it. And you just let us deal with him, because Great Britain's going to deal with him, and you don't need to do a thing. And Rebecca was like, yeah, you tell her, Nan. It's just, as well, I think, because she's a Cancer, she was a Cancer, so, a water sign. So just, I had to document it, because I feel like even now while I'm talking, and I've been awake for a little while, I feel like I'm in the water. I feel like I'm walking underwater. There's, if you've ever been in a swimming pool or in a river and you open your eyes and everything's sort of blurry but kind of phantasmagorical, that's how I feel. And I can hear the drums. And while, there's the mighty telephone, woo, 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 there's that dum, 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 that dum, 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 dum. He's standing up on end. Just like that. So I had to document it. Just keep swimming, gotta keep paddling. Because whoever and whatever is waiting for me on the shores of New York. And I think that's where my head of the eagle is waiting for me. So I need to get in the waka and row. Only for a little bit. And then they're taking over. So I really, really, even though it doesn't look like it on paper, I really think that my days here are numbered. I think Trump is on his way out. Musk is on his way down. Chris's story is being torn apart. It's all crashing down so that the path can be clear. And me losing the LinkedIn and everything is so that I can focus on what needs to be focused on. No more distractions. I need to just stick my pen to paper and write. And I need to write these songs, and I need to get it all out and just let my ancestors carry me the rest of the way. Don't worry about social media. Don't worry about what the UK government are doing. It's all been torched. So, just don't focus on the burning building. Just get yourself out. That. And we're taking you to calmer waters. So I don't know what's about to happen, but I think I'm being told to just keep doing what I'm doing with my writing and my documenting my little tunes and coming up with my ideas and sticking pen to paper. Just keep myself focused on what I'm doing and why I'm going through it, and don't let it doesn't matter what they threaten me with. Just keep going because it's all getting torched, and I'm to rise from the ashes and not catch on fire. So don't let them and what they threaten me with slow me down. It's not a setback. It's not a punishment or anything like that. It's to pinpoint my focus because while I'm doing that, my ancestors are going to remove the obstacles from the equation, which for me is Chris and the government. And because in that 2007 dream, the fact that all the British people joined my mum in the fight um, means like the backing of the people, getting the backing of the law, the government, well, maybe not the government, but like having the backing where it matters, and them all working together to get me justice so I can get the money to do good with it. That's what that dream in 2007 was. Funnily enough, I even talk about biochemical weapons and that, and you know what I was talking about with Rebecca. So um, they're saying you just keep your head down and do what you do, and let us take care of Chris and all the rest of them. But to get ready, because even my teacher said my life was going to change overnight, and that it has something to do with the government, the British government, being torn down and it having some effect on the monarchy because of the fact that in my 2007 dream, the money that was on the ground that had the Queen's face on it was like so obvious you couldn't miss it. And I knew that the Queen and the British money was was obviously once she died and I started doing the investigation, it was making a bit more sense. But back then, I knew that the Queen and the British government and British money was going to have something to do with the fight that I was going to fight with my mum and the mighty warriors and the people of Great Britain, which now makes sense, doesn't it? Because they're trying to get rid of the monarchy so that they can bring in control. And the thing is, one of the reasons that they keep using to shut my social media down is the law that the king signed in about, underage needing IDs, because that's the excuse they keep using. You need to show us government approved ID to prove that you really are who you say you are. The king signed that. So the king is partly responsible for why they're using that law to try and shut my social media down. So the king is helping shut my social media down because he signed that law. So I can't save him. I can't help him because he's helping take me down, take my social media down. So he kind of shot himself in the foot. He's cut off his own nose to spite his face, and now it's having consequences on him. Now the king has been punished because, as you know from the dream, the Queen Mother and the Queen haven't taken his side. They're punishing him for taking the wrong side, which is the dream from 2007. The king has been punished for what he's allowed his government to do to his people, and because it's had a detrimental knock on effect for me when I was the only person defending him, he's now been punished for it. So everything that's happening to the king and all the people turning against the king is his punishment for allowing his government to punish people like me for trying to protect the king. because the ID laws, because you know they're wanting me to upload my face and my government ID and all that to prove I am who I say I am to get my social media back, and I refuse to do it. That's all because of the king. So now he's facing karma for it. So while all that's been set on fire and burnt to the ground, I'm being told get on the boat and start rowing. Because what's waiting for you, where you're meant to be, is waiting for you on the other side of the Atlantic. And when it's not even going to be hard for you, we're going to take care of it all for you, which is exactly what Odin said. Don't you worry about all of that. You just focus on what you need to do and let us take care of everything. So put down my sword. No more posting the stuff that I've been posting. And I know I said that the other day, but it's like I keep saying, I'm the stuff I'm posting is for to defend myself legally. Um, Presenting my case to the courts. Literally, everything I post is me presenting my case to the courts. Because they tried to say that everything I am as a Māori woman was a mental illness and was worthy of being locked up and being poisoned. And yet what I am as a Māori woman is someone who does the kind of physics that people like Jeffrey Epstein were funding to try and gain access to and couldn't. I got punished for being a Māori scientist that does a science that white people and people in the white system aren't smart enough to understand. I got persecuted for being racially profiled and deemed unacceptable because I was smarter than the people judging me. Because how dare an Indigenous person be smarter than white science? And so, for every Indigenous person in the world who has ever been judged and treated unfairly, I'm their representation. I'm here to be their representative. And then I'm sharing the wealth by creating jobs, by promoting the artists, employing the talent and selling their products and all that. I'm sharing the wealth. Because I was persecuted for being Indigenous, the money that I will receive from it will be given to help other Indigenous people. Which in the 2007 dream was, that's why I knew I wasn't to keep the money for myself. Because most people would keep the money and buy houses and flash cars and designer clothing and all of that. And the YouTubers, ramping up the fear mongering of, like trying to make out like the stuff that it's like 90% people posting stuff to prove that everything I said is true. And then there's the fear mongering stuff that started dropping in where they're trying to make out like brink of World War III, Russia's been set on fire, the king is on his final days as the king, people are eating Prince Harry alive, NATO's at war with America, Spain's at war with America, the EU are breaking away from America, but it's all bollocks because they're all in it together. Trump is trying to get the ICC dismantled when the truth of the matter is Donald Trump is dying. I can see it. Everyone can see it. His soul has been extracted. You can see it. You can almost see his spirit leaving his body now. And he's trying to cause as much trouble before he goes. But I don't know what's coming, America. But something is coming, and it's going to be, same with Keir Starmer, almost overnight, where everything flips on his head and before you know it, he's not president anymore. He's been removed somehow. If my ancestors are saying, get in the boat and row and we're going to take you the rest of the way, you don't even need to row anymore. It means that something's about to happen in America with Trump and Musk, and that where their power is removed. If not, well, I mean, Trump's life as well, but, and that the people of Great Britain will deal with Great Britain. The people of Great Britain are going to deal with their government. We need you to focus on getting to America and helping Americans. I've done my time here in Great Britain is up, and it's all about to come crashing down, and it's not something I'm meant to be a part of. That it's up to my ancestors and the people of Great Britain. They're going to do the work for me. Just focus on getting to where I need to be, which is the shores of New York, where my head of the eagle is waiting. Whoever I end up with, I think he's waiting for me in America. That poor thing out there doesn't even know I'm coming to shake up his whole world. So, yeah, so I had to document it because it was huge. Like I'm overwhelmed by it all because I just got carried by some of the most powerful mighty people and mightydom, and they were my own ancestors, my own nana, and my own mighty nana was saying, "Home for you is America." Our original ancestors. I'm going back to the beginning, Alpha to Omega. I'm going back to my ancestors' beginning. Because when we headed over to New Zealand, we did it from Hawaii on the Tainui. And before that, we were mainland Native Americans. I just don't know the tribe, but I have a feeling it might be like Lakota or Chippewa, or I don't know. Anyway, I still hear those drums. So I'm going to go. I need to lay down. My stomach's killing me. I'll speak to you later. We'll see what happens, but I think I'm out. I think I've won. I think my battle is finally over. Or coming to an end, and I'm about to get news that I can leave. So maybe my sister, and because I was discussing with my sister whether they should, if they left for America from Auckland, they'd go from Auckland to LA or Auckland, Singapore. I mean, I know when I did it, but she'll go to LA and then LA to New York. So maybe she meets me in New York. Because we had discussed flying there together from here. But maybe she meets me in New York. Maybe her and the boys take a flight and meet me in New York. It was only scary in the fact that I knew what I was being asked to do was huge, like a big deal. And I mean, my nan is my nan, but you could imagine like how William would feel in the presence of Queen Elizabeth, you know, like she was his nan, but she was also the Queen of the British Empire, like a powerful woman. And having that kind of feeling a little bit intimidated because of the sheer power of the woman standing before you, even though she's your nan. And then not only that, she brought her warriors with her who were deeper than the Atlantic Ocean, who were going to carry you the rest of the way. Like, from a mighty mythological perspective, that's a big deal. And yeah, it just emotionally overwhelming because I haven't dreamt about my Nana in quite a few years. I had a couple of dreams in the past about both of my Nanas and my son feeding people my steamed pudding and all that, but that was a few years ago. But here she was standing there on the water with her cloak of feathers and her feathers in her hair and her moko on her chin with a greenstone so big around her neck with her mere, and she was waving it. So, yeah, gotta get ready. I need to prepare myself because I think the prophecy about my life changing overnight is upon us, and it's time for me to let go of here because something's coming for Trump and Christopher Black that's going to remove the obstacles from both ends, and then I can go. And my head of the eagle is waiting. Finally, after nearly 50 years of searching for him in my dreams, it's I'm starting to wonder, and I have suggested this before, the grandmother tree, when she says chitiwa hey, and I rub my nose against her bark, maybe the grandmother tree is my nan, because she is the direct Native American bloodline. She is the direct family tree root of my Native American bloodline. So maybe my Nana was the tree, and she was saying, "Welcome home," because that's what my sister said. So now it's all making sense. And I knew that the grandmother tree was connected to my ancestors, but I had assumed it was my Native American ancestors. But technically, if my Nana was the tree, if my Nana Elaine was the tree, she is my direct bloodline tie to my Native American ancestry. So she was 12 when she was 12. I was 12 when she died, and I've been having that dream since I was 4 or 5, before I started school. So this whole time, and that'll be why when I rub my nose up against her bark, because that's how Māori people greet each other, we hongi, we rub our noses. And the first thing I did was I rubbed my nose up against her bark like we were having a hongi, which Native Americans don't do, Māori people do it. But now it makes sense, and I was talking about how, for years and years and years, about how people were mortified that I was climbing all up in her branches because she was this ancient sacred tree, and people were mortified. And so now I'm thinking there must have been people who were shocked at, maybe people thought I was disrespecting my ancestors by the way that I was acting, the things that I'm saying, assuming that I had this power and position because of the physics that I do, and thinking, who does she think she is? She's the lowest in the food chain, and here she is climbing all over the Māori hierarchy, like she thinks she's somebody. She can't even speak the language, but I don't need to. Because like I keep saying, I can't speak the language of my people yet, but I can speak the language of my ancestors, and the people who speak the language of my people can't speak the language of my ancestors. I can speak the language of my ancestors. We speak two different languages, but the language I speak is older. The language I speak doesn't need words. And so maybe that's why when I got locked up and I reached out to the Ngāti Raukawa tribunal, they ignored me because I'm too white to be black and too black to be white. For the Ngāti Raukawa people, I'm too white to be black, and I'm certainly too white to have the kind of black power that I have, and I was judged for it by my own people. But in the United Kingdom, I'm too black to be white, so I've been stuck in the middle, all because both sides couldn't understand how I can do what I do and assume the privilege that I have, but it's not. I didn't ask for this. I was chosen for it. And you don't turn your Māori queen down when she asks you to represent her people on her behalf. And my nana was a queen. Well, she was a princess, but and she didn't. She spoke fluent Māori, but she got ripped away from her people and sent to a boarding school where she used to get beaten for speaking Māori, and then she refused to speak it because she couldn't speak English. So I'm just realising this is for her as well, because the British ripped her away from her people after her mother died from TB, which is a COVID variant, by the way. So my nana's fight, my great-grandmother's fight, was the same fight as Queen Elizabeth and all that. So now it's all finally starting to make sense. Now it's all, now it's all starting to make sense. I proved that TB was a COVID variant. The Black Plague was a COVID variant. The Spanish flu, malaria, they're all linked to COVID, all variants of COVID. Ebola, all of it, HIV, AIDS, typhoid. So now it's making sense, because then what happened was when my great-grandmother died, Isabel, of TB, she was only in her 20s, 25 I think she was when she died. They took my nana and put her in a boarding school, and they beat her for speaking Māori. She used to get beaten for speaking Māori. They'd whack her knuckles and stuff. And so she refused to speak Māori from that point on. And so then years later, the British did the same thing to her moko, me. But I wasn't beaten. I was sexually assaulted and starved and poisoned until my guts split open. Because the British decided that being Māori was a crime. And so now I'm just realising, like, it's all finally starting to make sense. I was 12 when Nana died and I was about 4. I know I was still at kindy when I started having those dreams. So my Nana was letting me know that I was in for one hell of a fight. But if I followed the animals and let the horses guide me and I look up, I was going to know exactly where I was meant to go. And there is literally a grandmother tree in New York. It's called the grandmother tree, and it's in a place in upstate New York. And there's a black and white photo of people sitting in the branches. And I always thought that's what it meant. But now I'm realising it's like a mirroring of two worlds. Now that dream finally makes sense. Bloody hell. So many times I thought I'd figured it out, but I guess events had to play out in order for it to all make sense. And now it does. I can't unknow what I see. So this whole time the grandmother tree, and I did figure out a few months ago that it was an ancestral tree, the matriarchal, but I didn't equate it with my actual Nana Elaine. I thought that it was my Native American bloodline Nana or something, but it's my actual Nana, which now makes sense as to why I rubbed my nose against her bark, because that's not what Native Americans do. But then I say to her, Chetiwahe, which I found out later means welcome home. And, oh gosh, I can't remember. I think that the tribe starts with T. I can't remember, I'm afraid. But it is there. You can look it up. Funnily enough, I figured out that Chetiwahe thing on LinkedIn, because I've had my LinkedIn for years. So, yeah, get ready, Debbie Lee, because I think my life's about to change overnight. And someone's waiting for me on the other side. And that's what my teacher said. I'd be welcomed to the land of A's with open arms, and that she said, the man waiting on bended knee, she said he looked Native American. And she said, oh, he's going to love you so much. He's going to love you so much, Debbie. You'll know, she said. He's it for life. He's yours for life. There'll be no doubt. She said, he waits for you on bended knee because of his reverence for you. He looks up to you. So he waits on bended knee in reverence. That's what she said. So I'm going to go now. I know I said that before, but overwhelming sense of emotions, just sitting in it, sitting in that moment was just so overwhelmingly powerful that it just took my emotions to a whole new level. Because I kind of feel like I just got my Nana's blessing to say, like she's passed the torch. You've earned it, Debbie, sort of thing. I'm giving you permission. And I'm not only giving you permission, but I'm going to lead you there. So I've passed some sort of test with my Nan, yeah. So something's coming and I need to get ready, and I'll speak to you later. Get ready, America. Get ready, head of the eagle. Here I come. Mwah.